Welcome to the best 100 superhero curiosities that will blow your mind. Let's begin. 1. Superman's real name is Kal-El, which in Kryptonian means voice of God, a detail that adds depth to his seemingly divine origin to humans. 2. Wolverine wasn't always short. In his first appearances, he was 6 feet 3 inches tall, but artists made him shorter to accentuate his animal ferocity. 3. Batman has been rejected by the Justice League. In the comics, he was expelled for creating a spy satellite to monitor his teammates without their consent. 4. Thor was once a lame doctor, Donald Blake, a mortal identity created by Odin to teach him humility before regaining his powers. 5. Black Widow is much older than she looks, thanks to the Russian serum that slows her aging. She has decades of experience as a spy. 6. The X-Men's Iceman is actually an Omega-level mutant, with enormous power that he rarely uses to its maximum potential. 7. Flash is responsible for the parallel universes in DC. In the Crisis on Infinite Earths comic, his run created the rift that generated the multiverse. 8. Hawkeye is deaf, a disability he acquired in the comics and often compensates for with his incredible sight and other skills. 9. The Thing of the Fantastic Four is a piloting genius, often overlooked due to his rocky appearance and joking personality. 10. Wonder Woman once renounced her title, becoming the goddess of truth for a time before returning to her role as a hero. 11. Green Lantern had a partner named Itty, an alien duck who possessed a power ring and was a member of the Green Lantern Corps. 12. Deadpool knows he is a fictional character. He constantly breaks the fourth wall, commenting on the comics, movies, and his writers. 13. Captain America had a substitute, William Naslund, who took the shield after Steve Rogers' supposed death during World War II. 14. The original Human Torch was an android. Marvel's first superhero was a robot created by Professor Phineas Horton in the 30s. 15. Aquaman can feel the pain of sea creatures. His telepathy not only allows him to communicate, but also to feel their agony, making his duty heavier. 16. Spider-Man's suit has tiny appendages that allow him to adhere to surfaces at a molecular level, not just by suction cups. 17. Wolverine was imprisoned in the Pit, a secret prison for the most dangerous heroes, after losing control and turning into a beast. 18. Iron Man created the Sentry program, an artificial intelligence system that nearly led Earth into an intergalactic war by mistake. 19. The original Captain Marvel was a man, Mar-Vell, a Kree warrior who fought for Earth before Carol Danvers took the mantle. 20. Bruce Banner has dissociative identity disorder. His Hulk personality is a manifestation of his childhood trauma and repressed anger. 21. The Joker was once a Marine, which was one of his many contradictory origin stories presented over the years. 22. Storm of the X-Men was a goddess worshipped in Africa. Before joining the X-Men, she used her weather powers to be seen as a deity. 23. Daredevil lost his sight due to a radioactive isotope, the same accident that heightened his other senses to superhuman levels. 24. Thanos is in love with death, literally, the cosmic entity, and commits his acts of genocide to impress her. 25. The Guardians of the Galaxy are from different centuries. Star-Lord is from the 80s, while some members are from the distant future. 26. DC's elongated man once stretched his body to wrap around an entire city and protect it from an explosion. 27. Hellcat possesses a sword that can cut through anything, even souls forged in hell itself. 28. Doctor Strange had to relinquish his Sorcerer Supreme title to prevent an evil entity from using the position for ill. 29. Bane is the only villain who discovered Batman's identity by himself, using his genius intellect to deduce it. 30. Spider-Man's webbing is biodegradable. It dissolves after about an hour to avoid pollution and leave no trace. 31. Magneto has twin children, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, a family tie that often complicates his conflicts with the X-Men. 32. Robin has had 5 incarnations: Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne, each with their own history. 33. The Invisible Woman can make others invisible, not just herself, and can also create force fields with her power. 34. Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, was forged in the heart of a dying star, from the remnants of a divine metal called Uru. 35. The Penguin keeps an umbrella with a weapon in the handle. inherited from his family, which he uses as a tool and a weapon. 36. Professor X lost the use of his legs due to Lucifer, an evil mutant, not an accident, in an early comic battle. 37. Hal Jordan once turned evil, murdering the entire Green Lantern Corps and becoming the entity Parallax. 38. Black Panther has enhanced senses from special herbs. He is not a mutant. His abilities come from a ritual with a heart-shaped herb. 39. Harley Quinn was created for the 90s Batman animated series, and her popularity led her to the comics and the main DC universe. 40. Swamp Thing was a man named Alec Holland, whose consciousness merged with vegetation after a swamp explosion. 41. Iceman can create ice clones of himself, which he can remotely control to fight on multiple fronts. 42. Catwoman has had several identities, from thief to hero, and even a business owner, showcasing her complex nature. 43. Rocket Raccoon is the last of his kind, a genetically modified raccoon on a planet called Half-World to care for the mentally ill. 44. Ant-Man's suit communicates with ants through synthetic pheromones, not telepathy, it's pure technology. 45. The Justice League had its own satellite, which orbited Earth as their headquarters before being destroyed on multiple occasions. 46. Jean Grey is the host for the Phoenix, a cosmic force of life and destruction, one of the most powerful entities in the Marvel Universe. 47. Deadpool married Death in one of his many absurd adventures. He was joined in matrimony with the very embodiment of the end of life. 48. The Riddler once turned good, opening a detective agency where he used his intellect to solve crimes instead of creating them. 49. Superman's vision includes light spectra beyond normal, allowing him to see from microwaves to X-rays at will. 50. Superman's son has different powers. Jonathan Kent can generate solar energy as a weapon, an ability his father doesn't possess. 51. Nick Fury lost an eye to a piece of shrapnel, not in battle, but while saving a teammate from an explosive. 52. The Fantastic Four were Marvel's first heroes in the modern era, marking the beginning of the Marvel Universe with their space trip. 53. Groot's voice only has 3 words, "I am Groot," but his companions can understand different meanings by his tone. So 54. Batman has a plan to defeat every member of the Justice League, in case any turn evil or are controlled. 55. Dr. Doom once ruled America in the Savage Land saga. He took control of the United States and created a utopia in his own way. 56. Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, is the first Muslim superheroine to have her own Marvel series, an important milestone. 57. Iceman and Storm of the X-Men can control the climate on a global level, but in very different ways. 58. Captain America's shield is not indestructible. It has been broken several times by individuals like Iron Serpent or Thanos. 59. Wonder Woman could not fly in her origins. In the original comics, she only jumped great distances with her power. 60. Spider-Man's spider sense is a psionic force field, which warns him of danger in an almost precognitive way. 61. Magneto once cured all of humanity of its diseases, using his powers massively in an act of apparent benevolence. 62. Star-Lord is half alien. His father is a cosmic being named Jason of Spartax, not the human shown in the movies. 63. Iron Man's suit can be controlled mentally. The Mark L armor is stored in his body and deploys via mental command. 64. Raven of the Teen Titans is the daughter of a demon, Trigon, and constantly struggles to control her dark heritage and power. 65. The Joker has a past as a failed comedian, one of the most accepted versions of his origin before falling into a tank of chemicals. 66. Rogue's powers prevent her from touching anyone. She absorbs the life force and memories of anyone who comes into contact with her skin. 67. Hawkeye was the only Avenger not affected by the Infinity Gems because he was deaf during the events of the comic. 68. Iceman can lower his temperature to absolute 0, the point where molecular movement stops completely. 69. The Justice League Dark are heroes from a parallel universe where they made harsher, deadlier decisions. 70. Captain America was named the first Avenger, not for his strength, but for his leadership and his heart. 71. Thor's hammer can only be lifted if you are worthy, but this rule has had exceptions and loopholes throughout history. 72. Black Widow was a ballet dancer, a training that gave her the grace and discipline she uses in her espionage missions. 73. Doctor Strange protects Earth from mystical threats, being the first line of defense against entities from other dimensions. 74. The Penguin has an army of real penguins, which he trains to carry out his criminal plans. 75. The Human Torch can reach the temperature of the sun, although he rarely uses his full power to avoid causing a catastrophe. 76. Batman has a biological son, Damian Wayne, raised by the League of Assassins, and who eventually became Robin. 77. Wonder Woman was created from clay. In her mythological origin, she was sculpted by her mother and given life by the gods. 78. Silver Surfer was an astronomer on his planet, named Norrin Radd, who sacrificed his freedom to save his world from Galactus. 79. The villain Mysterio once convinced Daredevil that he was an angel, using his illusions to manipulate his mind. 80. The X-Men have a member named Cypher, whose only power is to understand any language, including body and machine language. On 81, Black Panther's suit is made of vibranium, the same metal as Captain America's shield, but in a full mesh. 82. Superman once turned evil in the story Red Sun Superman after Lois Lane was murdered. 83. Black Widow has a serum that keeps her young, similar to Captain America's, but a Soviet version. 84. Iceman can travel through water pipes, reforming his body in any place with moisture. 85. The Joker has a daughter. In some comics, a young woman named Janie claims to be his descendant. 86. Captain America was a CIA agent before becoming the super soldier we all know. 87. The Fantastic Four were stripped of their powers voluntarily to live a normal life, but they always return to heroism. 88. The villain Kingpin loves his family. His motivation is often his wife Vanessa and his desire to protect her. 89. Spider-Man has a black alien suit, the symbiote that eventually becomes the villain Venom. 90. Scarlet Witch can alter reality with her spells. She once erased almost all mutants from Earth with 3 words. By 91, Doctor Doom believes he is a hero. He is convinced that his world government is humanity's only hope. 92. Robin the Boy Wonder was the first sidekick in comic book history, debuting in 1940. 93. The Invisible Woman can see through her own force fields, giving her a unique tactical advantage in combat. 94. Hal Jordan was chosen as Green Lantern for being completely fearless, a rare quality even in the universe. 95. Iceman has a brother who is also a mutant, who does not share his powers but shares their family connection. 96. The Riddler solved the case of Batman's identity, but chose not to reveal it because it would ruin the challenge. 97. Swamp Thing is immortal. As long as there is vegetation on Earth, his consciousness can transfer and survive. 98. Batman has a suit to defeat Superman, the Frank Miller armor with which he faced him in The Dark Knight Returns. 99. The Guardians of the Galaxy have a base called Nowhere, built inside the decapitated skull of an ancient celestial. 100. Wonder Woman once won a duel against Superman, using her combat skill and her lasso of truth to overcome his brute strength. And with this last curiosity, we come to the end. If you enjoyed these 100 facts, subscribe, so you don't miss the next video. And now on the screen, you have 2 videos that you are sure to love. Until next time.